guys? It's your boy Afro Indigenous Tech Talk. So I'm coming with a new video because guys, I be on YouTube a lot and I be looking at certain video topics that be blowing up on YouTube, right? And what's been blowing up on YouTube lately has been Black Americans versus Africans, right? And from what I understand social media, I understand algorithms, I understand attention, I understand behavior patterns when it comes to these platforms, right? And I was like, this got to be a narrative play because all I've been seeing is Black Americans versus Africans, right? And Black Americans and Africans has had a long history prior to the Europeans, right? Prior to anybody or anything before colonization, right? We have been a people that had interacted with each other, right? Black Americans, FBA say we're not Africans, and all that other stuff, right? Who at the end of the day, we was once a people that done business amongst each other, that share culture, that lived amongst each other. That is true. Even during slavery times, we lived amongst each other, right? We did business amongst each other. We shared culture amongst each other. That was only distorted once the Europeans and colonialization came into play to separate the two to make it seem like they didn't have no history prior to that. They didn't really do anything with each other. They just existed. Slavery happened, and that was just it, right? So I asked ChatGPT. I said, break down the whole Black Americans versus African blowing up on YouTube. Is this a narrative play in the algorithm? So it's a short answer, yes. It is largely a narrative play that the algorithm rewards. Long answer below, broken down cleanly. So let's let's go deep into why I believe this is a narrative play, because like I said, YouTube and a social media algorithm rewards conflict, right? It rewards people that because conflict heightens emotion, right? People are reactive, people are impulsive, so it heightens emotion. So why this topic suddenly blew up? This isn't organic in the way people think. It is algorithmic, your algorithm aligned conflict, amplification. Amplification. You guys know what I mean. Platforms, especially YouTube plus Shorts, reward high watch time, emotional reaction, comments plus rebuttals, repeat responses across creators. Black Americans versus Africans hits all of those levers at once: identity, belonging, pain, history, competition, status. The algorithm doesn't care who is right. It cares who keep people watching and arguing. So that's the thing with these platforms. These platforms know that if we can get these people to click, right, and we can get them to watch, because also too the goal of a social media platform or any types of platform is to make sure they acquire as much watch time as possible. If they don't get you on TikTok or they don't get you spending time on these social media platforms, they don't have time to gather any type of data on you, because advertisers love running products on these platforms because people are actively staying on the platforms, right? So as long as you stay on the platform and you're hooked into it and the watch times are accumulating and stuff like that, advertisers and these social media platforms make money. So too, the algorithm prefers in-group conflict over external critique. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Platforms suppress content that unifies marginalized groups against systems, but amplify content that splits groups internally. Why internal conflict equal? Yeah, like I said, internal conflict equals safe for advertisers. That's what they want. They want advertisers to stay on the platform. External slash systemic critique equal risky, polarizing regulatory attention. Right. So black versus black equals basically is monetized. Right. Black unity versus power structure throttle. This isn't new. It's just more visible now. Why this specific divide works so well? A, it's this asymmetric pain. Black Americans' historical disposition inside the empire. Africans equals modern displacement outside the empire. Different wounds, same frustration, misdirected at each other. The algorithm loves unresolved pain. Right. So we're going to B. Both sides feel invalidated. Black Americans feel erased, gaslit, and told to move on. Africans feel stereotyped, boxed in, or blamed for global black struggles. That creates defensive storytelling in adults over systems, personal attacks slash structural analysts, perfect for viral clips. C, it is easy to clip and rage bait. So basically, that's what these platforms want us to do as well, rage bait, right? Argue with each other, fight, bicker back and forth, right? Um, yeah, I would say for B, defensive storytelling. It's a lot of defensiveness. I feel like we all get defensive as we tell our stories and tell our pain of in America or in Africa, and it comes to a point where the defensive storytelling gets so redundant is that we just tend to argue, right? You know what I'm saying? We don't come up with any type of solutions. We don't come up with any type of game plan. We don't even come up with any type of infrastructure talk to solve these issues, right? So it leads to personal attacks, right? And like I said, it's perfect for viral clips. And I do agree, it is perfect for viral clips because I I do watch a YouTuber. I'm not gonna name his name and stuff like that. He be going in on the Africans and stuff like that. And this describes it to a T because he kind of does the same thing. You know what I'm saying? They don't talk about systems. They it's more so like storytelling. Africa this and Black Americans that, and then it leads to personal attacks, and then I mean, because people like this type of stuff too, because it's comfortable to talk about the pain, right, without coming up with any type of actual game plan, like actual, like when these people, like when high elite people go into office, they do not talk about their stories like you did this. No, they talk about the resources they want to acquire. They talk about deals they're making, right? They talking about mapping out what they're gonna be doing next. Like this is what high elite people do in office that's trying to what maintain power and influence, right? So let's go to C. It is easy to clip and rage bait statements like Africans sold you, Black American have no culture. You're not really from here. You're not really African, right? So clips like these get like rage baiting and statements like this get clipped and you know what I'm saying, turn into a viral moment, right? And the creators that's creating the content, they know they're gonna get the clicks, and people going to click, they're going to watch, they're going to be emotionally invested into the content, and what the creators make money. Come on, it's the creator have an incentive to make content like this. Why? Because they get paid on it. Ask your creator, right? Ask the YouTube creator. If you wasn't making money, would you care about this? You gotta ask them if they wasn't making money behind the scene. Come on, do people just don't make YouTube videos for fun no more? They make these videos because it is an incentive behind creating the content, right? Because they get paid on the back end. Every YouTuber, I don't care who they are, right? Their job, right, is to create content that's getting the most controversy at that time, that's getting the most attention. They make content behind it. So what? So they can make money, right? So shorts, explosive, emotional, loaded, easy to remix, right? The timing is not accidental. This part matters. The surge lines up with AI plus crypto plus capital consolidation, reduced DEI narratives, tighten economic conditions, global south becoming strategically important Africa and Caribbean. When resources tighten, narratives that prevent coalition building spike. The vision isn't always imposed directly. Sometimes it is incentivized, right? Like I just said, the vision isn't always imposed directly. Sometimes it is incentivized. So they have it in, like I said, they have an incentive to spew out rhetoric like this on the well because they're getting paid on it. It's always, hey, someone's pulling the strings. Someone's pulling the strings. Someone has an incentive to what? To spew out this type of narrative on the online. Why? Because it gathered attention. And as we know, like I said, as we know that YouTube paid people to post content that gets the most attention. Who actually benefits from this narrative loop? Not Black Americans, not Africans. The beneficiaries are platforms, engagements plus ad revenue, political actors, fragmented voting blocks, economic system that prefers isolated individuals, not coordinated groups, a divided audience, doesn't pull capital, doesn't build institutions, and doesn't challenge ownership of infrastructure. Why creators keep feeding it, even unintentionally? Many creators, like I said, are rewarded immediately. Views, subs, money. Feel seen for the first time. Get pushed into reaction cycles. The algorithm trains them. Talk about this and you will grow. So even when well attended attention creators get locked in, so even well attended creators get locked into oppositional farming, response video, identity gatekeeping, right? That becomes their lane and it's hard to exit without losing reach. What isn't being amplified on purpose? Notice what doesn't trend as much. Joint Black economic strategy. What I do on my channel, right? Not only do I post content like this, but I also post content on cryptocurrency, DeFi, and the new age of finance. We are entering a new age of finance. If you're not aware that Donald Trump, since he's been in office, he's been making deals regarding what? Technology. It's all based around technology, cryptocurrency, AI, data centers. They want to get this is where the world is going, guys. We are going more into a digital world. AI is going to be more and more inside our lives, right? Cryptocurrency, blockchain, this is the new infrastructure, right? And what Trump and them is doing is restructuring the power of America, right? He's restructuring it. It's not gonna. It's you don't see the effects now because he just got in. But after I promise you, after Trump term is up, you're going to see the difference by 2029, 2030, going into 2035. You're going to see the difference. I promise you. Pan-Black capital pooling, infrastructure ownership, cooperative tech or land models, long-form historical synthesis without blame. Those require slower thinking, less outrage, and more coordination. Bad for algorithm, good for real power. The meta truth: this isn't really Black Americans versus Africans. It is a fragmented identity versus coordinated identity, reaction versus construction, trauma narrative versus sovereignty narrative. The algorithm pushes what keeps people reacting, not what help them build. The telltale sign: it is an algorithmic narrative. Ask one question: does this content leave people more informed and empowered, or more angry, defensive, and divided? If it is the latter, it is exploding in reach. That is not accidental. Yes, this is algorithmically incentivized division, not just random discourse. Not because someone is controlling everything in a cartoon way, but because engagement, economics reward friction over unity. Those who recognize this can choose to keep feeding the loop or to step above and build narratives around coordination, ownership, and strategy. Right? So, yeah, guys, everything is incentivized, right, to make content like this because people get paid. I mean, it's just the nature of how content creation has evolved over time. Right? Content creation has evolved over time to what? To create content that incentivizes people to get paid. It's not really about the truth anymore, right? It's not really about solving issues. It's like it's not different than what reality shows push us to be pushed out, right? They pushed out content that get our people reactive and addicted, right? So, guys, I'm gonna close out this video and stuff like that, man. My reading was so par and stuff in this video. My bad. Just waking up. But I am gonna be making a new video. Subscribe to the content. I'm out. Peace.